Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the third project of this course. So this is going to be an IT logger, and the idea of this project is it's an internal app for an IT department. So let's say, someone fixes a hard drive on a workstation or on a server or something like that. This is a place where they can come and they can add that log. Okay, so each log will have an ID, it'll have a message, the technician that added it, it'll also have the date and time. And you'll be able to edit logs, set them to attention needed. If so, you can see that this one here is red, this one needs attention. We'll be able to add technicians, we'll be able to search the logs, things like that. And I'll give you an example of how it works in a second. Now, we're going to be using Redux for this project. In fact, if you've never used Redux and you're wondering what this is over here, these are the Redux dev tools, which shows us our state and all that stuff, all the actions that are called. But Redux is a third-party state manager. Up to this point, we've been using the context API along with the use context and use reducer hook, which is a great solution, especially for smaller to medium-sized apps. I think Redux, in my own personal opinion, is better for really large applications because of how it's structured, the way you can combine reducers and stuff like that. But that's really just my personal opinion, and I think it's important to learn Redux, so I didn't want to leave it out of this course. So Redux is the main purpose of this project. That's what I want to focus on, is getting you familiar with actions and reducers. And I know we dealt with that with the context API, but it's structured a little different with Redux. But it's the same idea. It's app level state. Now, as far as where we're going to store and get our data, we're going to use something called JSON Server, which is a fantastic service. It's basically a fake REST API. We're able to make GET requests, POST requests, and all that stuff, and we're actually able to update the data, add new data, and so on. And it's actually just a JSON file, but we can make all these requests, and we can even filter data, we can search, we can do all types of stuff, and we can use whatever types of data we want. We'll be using logs and technicians. So this is just a great piece of software. I use it all the time for just testing and prototyping. It's not something you would use in production, but it's something you could use to, just to get something up on the back end really quick. If after this project you want to go and create the same API with Express and Node like we did in the last project, you could do that if you want. And then we'll also be using Materialize for the UI design. Materialize is a UI or a CSS framework, much like Bootstrap. I like it better. I think it looks better, but we'll be using that for the design instead of just a custom CSS file. All right, and then we'll be using some JavaScript widgets like modals and stuff, and you can see this cool little button down here. So we can go ahead and see the logs, obviously, and it shows all the information. If we want to add a new log, we can click this button. It's going to open up a modal, and let's say we'll do fixed. Let's say fixed workstation 026, something like that, and we can select from a technician. So let's say we're Sam Smith, and it doesn't need attention, so we'll leave that unchecked, and we'll say enter, and we get this little pop-up here. So we're utilizing some of these materialized JavaScript widgets, and you can see that it's been added here, and it has an ID of 4, so it's auto increment. And if we want to edit it, we could go ahead and edit it. Let's say I don't know, workstation, let's say it broke again, so workstation 026 is down, and we want it to needs attention. So enter, now you can see it's red. And if someone else comes in and fixes it, like Sarah comes in and fixes it, we could say workstation 026 is up and running. And it doesn't need attention anymore. So that's the idea. And we can also add new technicians. So we'll just go ahead and add myself. Okay, Brad Traversy was added as a tech. And if I go and open up this modal, you'll see that I'm added here. And if we want to list the text or delete, we can go to this icon. It'll show all the technicians. We can delete a technician. We can also search by the message or by the name. So let's say We'll put an S in here, SAM, so you can see that narrows it down to Sam Smith. We could also do like 007 if we wanted to search for a specific workstation. So that's pretty much the idea. All right, so it's a nice little application. It's pretty simple in theory, but I think that you're going to learn a lot when it comes to Redux and how to implement a store and all that stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and get started.